Harry Potter is one of the most fascinating franchises and really just worlds in general, guys, ever created, in my personal opinion. I remember when this title came out and it was like competing with The Lord of the Rings when those movies were coming out, Harry Potter movies were coming out. Like I said, two of the greatest, just very imaginative worlds out there. And one thing I'm really excited about is Hogwarts Legacy. It's going to continue the legacy and the lore, the story of Hogwarts, but also of just Harry Potter as a whole. At least that's in my personal opinion. I want to talk about everything that we know about this title, guys. I'd love to have some real conversation with you guys in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. In an article written by Lauren Morton of PC Gamer, the Big Wizarding World RPG will let you create your own student and pen your legacy at Hogwarts. That's so key, guys. Create your own student and then pen your legacy. That is a really cool concept. You're not kind of going into the mind of like Harry or Ron or one of these other characters that's already in this universe. You're creating your own. It's really something that could be very special moving forward. The long-rumored Wizarding RPG Hogwarts Legacy is indeed in the works, and the reveal trailer proves that it has all kinds of wizard school activities we'd expect. There are pet owls and potion classes in the Sorting Hat and more. Rather than chasing the stories of wizards we already know, Hogwarts Legacy takes place long before the boy who lived, so you can make your own memories. Portkey Games and Avalanche Software say that you'll be able to create your own Hogwarts student, explore an open world, and uncover secrets about ancient magic that may affect the future of the wizarding world. So, obviously, guys, we haven't seen a ton at this moment in time, but from what we've seen of these, of the trailer and things, the reveal trailer at least, it looks like it could be something really special. Now, when is the release date? That's the big one, guys. Hogwarts Legacy will launch sometime in 2022. It was originally planned for this year, but announced in January 2021 that it would be pushed back into the following year. Creating the best possible experience for all the wizarding world and gaming fans is paramount to us, so we are giving the game the time it needs, Portkey Games says. So, you got to take that date with a pinch of salt. Because of the ongoing situation in our world, guys, there is a chance that it could get pushed back even further than 2022. Now, could it also stay with 2022? Absolutely. Or could it come back a little bit to 2021? Probably not. But there's a good chance that it could stay, obviously, like late 2022 or even into 2023. So just kind of keep, obviously we're very excited about it, but I would much rather them take their time, make it as good of an experience as possible, and then release it when it's done. So, now, we don't know a lot about Hogwarts Legacy just yet, but we can say for certain, based on its reveal trailer, that it looks great. And yes, guys, the images and things of that nature that we've seen, it looks absolutely gorgeous. What's the story here? So, Avalanche Software and Portkey Games say that Hogwarts Legacy follows the Wizarding World lore set out in the original Harry Potter novels, but is an original story from the studio, not written by J.K. Rowling. Now, that, to me, guys, is somewhat of a red flag. I think J.K. Rowling should be somewhat a part of this project because this is her world. And I think that even though I'm okay with having like something completely separate, essentially, I just think that J.K. Rowling being a part of this would be a very smart decision, to say the least. But it doesn't look like that's going to be happening. She's not. Maybe she has a role, but it's not being written by her. You'll play as a student attending Hogwarts in the late 1800s, attending classes and learning magic alongside other students. You've received a late acceptance to the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry and soon discover that you are no ordinary student. You possess an unusual ability to perceive and master ancient magic, the studio says. Only you can decide if you will protect this secret for the good of all or yield to the temptation of more sinister magic. So that leads us with the idea that there's going to be decisions you have to make throughout the course of the story. And I really like that as well. Is Harry Potter in Hogwarts Legacy? This was another one that a lot of people in the community are talking about. No. Remember, this is set in the 1800s, so the kid who lived is several generations from being born. Harry Potter won't be in Hogwarts Legacy, but since you can create your own character, you could probably design a wizard student who looks like him if you really want to. Another thing is that maybe if they have a multiplayer mode or something of that nature with Hogwarts Legacy, you'll be able to play as some of those original characters in some way or capacity. The gameplay. Avalanche is calling Hogwarts Legacy an immersive open-world action RPG. The immersive part may or may not mean a whole lot, but it sounds like you may be able to freely explore Hogwarts and other familiar locations while leveling and customizing your student. They've mentioned that you will be able to choose your student's schoolhouse at the beginning of the game. Avalanche doesn't let on if those companions it mentions are other students or pets or maybe even patronuses, but we're sure to find out later. As for the deadly enemies, you can spot what might be a dark wizard enemy in the reveal trailer. Now, as far as the locations about Hogwarts Legacy and where you're going to be exploring and such. So one is Hogwarts Castle. It should come as no surprise that we'll be spending a lot of time in Hogwarts Castle itself as students. In the reveal trailer, we got a good look at the expansive Great Hall and a look at the exterior we know so well too. Hogsmeade, the nearby village of Hogsmeade, shows up in the trailer too, so we can likely expect to wind down after classes in some of the local shops. And then of course the Forbidden Forest. Also from the trailer, we can spot a venture into the Forbidden Forest where a student is fighting against those unknown evil wizards of Hogwarts Legacy. Now here's the question. Is J.K. Rowling involved at all? Now, guys, full disclosure, the Harry Potter books are my favorite books ever when it came to from a narrative perspective. As far as novels go, obviously, I'm really into, like, when I read books, I read a lot of business-based books, investing books, things of that nature. But if I'm trying to read a novel or something, J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter books are the easiest read, and they are the greatest, series in my opinion when it comes to just reading them. Absolutely loved Harry Potter. I breezed through them, and I'm not a very fast reader. So J.K. Rowling, to me, it's a big deal whether she's a part of this or not. So in recent months, J.K. Rowling has made a series of transphobic remarks that have upset many longtime Harry Potter fans, making her connection to Hogwarts Legacy a significant question. The story of Hogwarts Legacy is an Avalanche creation, and on an FAQ on its website, WB Games says J.K. Rowling is not directly involved in the creation of the game. However, her extraordinary body of writing is the foundation of all projects in the wizarding world. When Kotaku asked Warner Brothers whether Rowling would receive royalties from sales of Hogwarts Legacy, a representative declined to comment. Which to me, guys, it feels like she has to get royalties for this. It's her world. And obviously they're creating something a little bit different, but it's kind of, still within that universe. So JK, look, she's been going, obviously she's had some issues going on, like with comments and things of that nature. However, the question really lies in, would this be better of a title, of a game, with or without J.K. Rowling? And to me, at least, I believe it would be better with her. Now, look, I'm not going to say that I agree with what she did or anything of that nature. Obviously, the comments were pretty startling and disrespectful in a number of ways. But I'm just saying when you look at it as the scope of this thing, Hogwarts Legacy as a whole, I believe that her 2 cents, her kind of given the sign off on the things within the world and such that she would approve of or not. I think that's important. Because I don't want this game to release and then J.K. Rowling has a bunch of things to say about how this wasn't a very good, story, how, this wasn't the vision that she ever had for a video game like Hogwarts Legacy. And then you start starting to spiral. Now, if the game comes out to, critical acclaim and such, then it's a totally different situation. But if people have a lot of complaints about it and then J.K. Rowling comes out and starts talking about it in a negative way, it's going to really hurt any future of there being more Harry Potter games, down the road, kind of like this. So, we got to be, in my opinion, we have to be realistic about it, even though there's probably a chance that she's not going to be a part of this. But then you also have to be realistic that it could end up, not being as good of a title because you don't have her feedback. But let me know, what do you guys think in the comment section down below about that? Hogwarts Legacy, guys, at the end of the day, I'm very excited about it because I love this world and I can't wait to be able to play it and create my own character and things of that nature. Let me know what you all think about it, though, in the comment section down below. And for more Hogwarts Legacy content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.